welcome to our first session. As I'm speaking to you, I'm actually sitting in front of my dining table. So this is the best example you can get, really, about blurring live work, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So may I also welcome our distinguished panelists. We have with us Mr. Ben Robinson, the CEO of Raffles Key Asset Management. We have Mr. Leong Ting Wei, who's the CDO for the Ascot Limited, also the co-chair for ULI APAC Housing Product Council. And lastly, we have Ms. Tang Wei Ling, who's the MD for Colliers International. Hello, all of you.
Hi. Hi, Terence.
Hi. Hello. So before we start, throughout the session, we welcome all of you to send any questions you have to our panelists. As Trunfa says, the show must go on, so we need a really good show, and it would be great if you give us some really difficult questions. So I'm going to start by saying the outbreak has seen a lot of companies having to navigate and rapidly their ways of sort of conducting business. Now, what unique set of challenges did you face, and what lessons did you learn? So, Ting Wei, I'd like to direct this question to you first, then perhaps followed by Wei Ling and Ben to answer. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Terence. Can I have the first slide, please? Yes, hello everybody. Yeah, we are an international lodging company with a wide range of hospitality brands and asset classes, ranging from service residences or SRs to hotels to multifamily and to co-living. But like many in the travel-related services, the pandemic has hit us fast and hard. But while hotels and many short-term rentals are closed during this lockdown, we are fortunate that our SRs are still able to pivot to new accommodation needs quite quickly. Next slide. Our accommodation products is flexible leasing, and our operational capabilities were put to good use in the pandemic. We are able to mobilize our SR assets at speed and redeploy them at scale across various geographies. Many governments now consider the SRs to be essential housing services. We are now housing key workers in countries like China, Europe, Singapore, and Australia, and also folks on self-isolation, stay-home notices, returnees, and corporate travelers in essential work. As part of our small contribution, we are also helping to manage floating accommodation budgets or floatels for migrant workers in Singapore, as well as providing safe housing for healthcare workers in needs. Also importantly, we are building new valuable capabilities as we learn to meet this evolving needs in this crisis. Next slide. We are also adapting and changing the way we use space to provide services. Like for example, repurposing our apartment spaces into day office for people who are not able to work from home. For example, our Australia properties now have a day rate that includes the day use of the rooms with Wi-Fi, meals delivery, and free parking. The other major impact on the business is the effects of social distancing. Next slide. We find that our SR green design has proven to be more resilient and suitable for social distancing than the typical hermetically sealed hotels or offices. Our SRs are designed for longer stay with less crowded facilities and less manpower needed. The units are self-contained with more space offering. Many units have openable windows with plenty of natural fresh air and light. Many have split air conditioning and its own kitchen and washer for self-catering. All this made it safer for staying, working, and cleaning in these times. We are thankful that our SR asset performance and occupancy continues to be robust and resilient. Which we are thankful. And based on the hotel industry operating statistics, our properties have outperformed their ComSat hotel properties since the COVID outbreak. As we ride out this COVID, we are hopeful that our SR occupancy and ADR may rebound faster, as we believe the initial recovery will be driven by corporate demand first than discretionary travels. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Teng Hui. I really like the day rate about milk delivery. I think I should try one of that, stay at the SR. So going next to perhaps Wei Ling, perhaps the same question about the outbreak and what do you see as the challenges and the lessons you've learned, basically?
Okay, thanks, Terence. So for us, we managed to minimize the disruption of transiting to remote working as all people were already equipped with laptops and all our platforms were already cloud-based. So our IT team were also very quick to respond, and they set up regional platform with tutorials and articles to make sure everyone would be able to maintain their productivity. So they've also conducted live trainings, and some of these initiatives are still happening. And in fact, we did our town hall recently live, and it was the best attended town hall ever. So for us, the transition has been smooth. But having said that, I can't say that we are operating as business as usual, because really business as usual will not exist anymore. So we ask our people whether they're happy working from home. So we ask them, and 80% of our people tell us that they are happy working from home. So this is a big relief because the entire concept works. Now, in terms of challenges, there are many. In terms of lessons, I've learned a lot. So maybe let me share with you one of the biggest challenge for me. So for me, is adapting my leadership style. Like all of you, all of a sudden, we became isolated. It's not the office environment. And with this current change, which is a new constant, and some very important decisions that we have to make in order to ensure business continuity, I suddenly found myself, how do I make a decisions without my leadership team? In the office it's different. You walk around, you get everyone to huddle together. But in this environment, I realized that we could easily get into a team call, and that my leadership team is actually right beside me, on call. I'm not sure if it's better or worse, but I know I can rely on them more than ever and get their input, get consensus. Now, in terms of lesson, I think one thing that that came very strongly to me during this period is that our company culture and our core values have never been more important. It's hard to engage with people when we're all apart, and you can't keep calling them, and they all have their distractions, so do we, and there are changes that are simultaneously happening in our life and our communities. So I found that things like collaboration, teamwork, investing in relationship, and doing what's right, all these kind of values are important. And I find that they just, came through. It's our values, and it's in the individuals, even though we are apart.
Thank you very much, Wei Ling. So that's really interesting about business unusual, as well as sharing personally your challenges as a leader. Can we move quickly to Ben in your response, basically? I think, Ben, you're sort of muted.
Apologies. Preparation was definitely a key to us being able to address the pandemic threat, in a positive manner, if that's at all possible in this environment. Like many of you, I'm sure we dusted off our business continuity plans and our operational continuity plans very early in the piece to ensure that we were well prepared. The three key areas I think that we were able to address swiftly were in relation to resource management and then communication, both in terms of how we communicate with our tenants and with the media. So the portfolio that RQAM operates is a 4.5 million square foot commercial office, predominantly commercial office portfolio with supporting amenity retail. So we needed to make sure that we were able to deploy human resources effectively across the portfolio in a timely manner to address the threats. And this is predominantly in relationship to security and cleaning and the additional operational support that our tenants require. Certainly in relation to remote resource management, the use of technology, in particular Microsoft Teams, has been very effective to ensure that we're able to continue with the business and effectively deliver an operation, and in particular in a paperless manner to our tenants. So in one way, that the paperless approach is certainly an area that's had a light shined on it, and an area that is ripe for improvement, certainly in our business as we go back into the office in the future. The other two areas in relation to communication, so both with tenants and media, understanding the challenges that our tenants are facing, and coming up with creative ways for how we can support them and support their needs. A great example of this is with reference to access data and analytics of access data. So a number of our tenants approached us to help support them with contract tracing. So we were able to leverage our access data database and apply a layer of data analytics across that to provide meaningful contract tracing and meaningful insights into the movement in and out of their space, but equally in and out of the portfolio. Finally, in relation to media management, the media is absolutely our friend, and it's a fantastic resource for the real estate industry. However, in a critical threat environment, managing the messaging from the landlord, particularly in relation to tenant matters, needs to be very carefully managed and curated. So we engaged a third-party communications resource, as was defined in our business continuity plan, and they helped us manage that area, particularly heading off areas of disinformation in the media and managing the variety of multilateral media sources, including social media and other new media sources like WhatsApp, was crucial in providing or being able to provide clear and successful communication. Finally, the area that we learned most about really was in relation to corporate governance.
Sorry, Ben. Can we maybe come back to that a little bit later, because we want to talk. I mean, you previously talked a little bit about all the kind of technology, and so we'll start sort of touch upon that. I want to go back to maybe this question for Ting Wei, talking about technology, just asking how have you really leveraged existing and new tech tools? I'm sorry, Ting Wei, tech tools to ensure business continuity and productivity. So while still allowing for agile working, now how do you harness emerging tech and empower your staff actually, and mitigate risks and sort of facilitate, this interconnectedness with your customers?
Okay. Well, thanks, Terence. With social distancing and lockdowns, it has become much more challenging for many hospitality operators and owners to ensure the safety of their guests and staff, as well as the safe operations of the properties. Indeed, many has chosen to close their properties and operations instead. Fortunately for us, we have been digitizing our guest services and operating processes in the last few years. We have now in place a single digital management platform for our customers, operations and staff. Now, this digital platform has proven to be mission critical for our business continuity and risk management in this pandemic. It has also created a differentiated digital-first experience for our customers and community. What we've done is that we have integrated our cloud-based booking reservation engine, the property management system, and our backend operations to create a single integrated management console with a guest-facing app. The app is linked to our customer loyalty program called the Ascot Star Reward, or ASR, which has been piloted in our first co-living property, the Live Funan, last year. And this will be launched across all our brands in September this year. Basically, what it does is that it provides this whole range of services engagement with our guests digitally across their whole customer journey, from pre-arrival to post-checkout. For the staff, it provides insights into their service performance, data points, and also it gives them analytics so that they can respond faster and better meet guest needs. It's very scalable. We were able to update very quickly additional cleaning, safety, and operating protocols specific to COVID-19 in our workflow management. This has helped us in this crisis to optimize the workflow even more efficiently with less staff while still maintaining high service levels in the crisis. Next slide. The platform has also enabled us to plug in a new technology that reduces physical contact, movements, and crowdedness in our properties. This has helped significantly to enhance safety for both guests and staff. These include the digital mobile keys, which allow contactless safe access to the guest room for both guests and staff. Self-service check-in kiosks with facial recognition for safe self-check-in. Smart energy management with machine learning that optimizes energy usage automatically based on occupancy, also predicts equipment failure and activates preemptive maintenance, as well as autonomous delivery robots for safe distancing automated delivery to guest room. Next slide. Last but not least, being digital first has helped us to remain connected with our guests. Although guests and staff are physically distanced, we are still interacting socially online with the community. For instance, the live team has curated the together but apart menu of activities that can be done together, virtually. For example, for instance, cocktails for happy hours, cooking, eating, exercising, and workout, or even participating in CSR activities. We find that because we are still sustaining our community engagement virtually during COVID-19, it has given our guests a lot of comfort during this time of uncertainty and isolation. Given our front seat to the impact of COVID-19, we will continue to adapt and improve our services, designs, and systems. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ting Hui. So maybe going to Wei Ling, just to talk a little bit about the crisis that we're having now. Chinese actually comprises both risks and opportunities. So in these kind of unprecedented times, so what opportunities are there really you see for both investors and occupiers? And then given a renewed focus on operational as well as flexibility and space optimization, how do you predict the office landscape will evolve in the years to come?
Thanks, Terence. There are indeed, some great opportunities for both occupiers and investors. And I would say that the common theme here is everyone needs to get ready for the upturn. It will come. So history tells us that property is always one of the first market to pick up, and you need to catch the wave at the right time. So for occupiers, what must they do? I think number one, they have to rationalize their space needs. Consider flex and core or split office strategy. I think today's crisis, everyone understands split location, flex and core, the importance of it, remote working. So those are important considerations that occupiers will need to start rationalizing. Now, what about investors? They should remain on the lookout for assets and position for recovery. Now, doesn't mean that, a lot of people feel that maybe the opportunity is in the next few quarters or a couple of months, but I feel that, investors should still actively engage and continue to look out and wait for the right moment. You need to catch the right moment. And we feel very strongly that there will be a significant rebound in the second half of this year. It's possible in Singapore simply because of our government's strong response to COVID-19. And I think this has built a lot of confidence for us as a country, and it's confirmed our status as a safe haven. Now, from a physical property perspective, there is this opportunity now to adjust and reduce risk. As all of us know, technology has facilitated this smooth transition to telecommuting for both work and school from home. Our home now is our workplace, is our children's school, as many of you, and as shared earlier, It could even, some of you want it to be your night bar, your exercise place, and technology has enabled that. Now, there's also that telemedicine concept, teletherapy, teletuition, tele-exercising. So what does this mean for the developer, investor, landlord? I mean, this could mean that really you could increase your offerings with reduced physical space enhanced by telecommuting option. Now, this, could also mean a higher rates per square foot for the landlords, the investors and the developers. Now, similarly, for the occupier, a reduced physical space enhanced by telecommuting option would mean that, you need a smaller space and hence a smaller lump sum commitment in terms of rentals. So I feel this pandemic gives many of us the opportunity to reevaluate our physical space consumption, creates that timely opportunity for us to reevaluate how we adopt technology. We can be very creative about it, and I've seen many people being very creatively adopting technology, ourselves included. As I shared, we did our town hall live over Teams. Now, so operation flexibility and space optimization will be key priorities for everyone. Remote working options, split location, reduced density will balance out the demand for office space.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Willing. I really like the message about being upbeat and really thinking about recovery, and also the message to both tenants and landlords alike that this is really an opportunity for us to relook at how we could really diversify, increase the richness in offerings, but that may not be really a bad thing for tenants, because that's an opportunity as well for them to optimize their spatial use. So maybe going to Ben, so looking at this kind of need for resilience post-pandemic, so what factors do you think asset owners need to take into consideration sort of to reimagine and future-proof their portfolios? This is to respond actually and anticipate the lasting behavior changes we are making now, social distancing, and also enhance health and wellness expectations by tenants and occupiers.
Sure, thanks, Terence. There's definitely a host of behavioural changes, processes and procedures and ultimately strategies that we can all see that have been brought to the fore as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. With no alternative, businesses have been forced to adopt technology to swiftly adapt to partially or completely working from home. So the pandemic situation has been a really interesting test case of what is possible and what are the positives and negative impacts on productivity, morale, and mental health. So I think it's important to focus on that for a moment in light of how we will then go and have a look at how office space is to be used in the future. So the ability of available technology platforms to facilitate remote working has been tested, and certainly from our point of view, it's proven to be more than capable. So how is this expected to change the occupation and use of commercial space in the future? We are focusing on three key factors, as was just mentioned: core, flex, and amenity space, community engagement, and data analytics. These factors sit at the centre of the vision that we have for the portfolio, which is creating the workplace community and experience of the future. So the concept of core and flex and amenity space has emerged as a result of the evolution of co-working space over the past decade. And I know that all of you are very aware of this concept. So really effectively allowing occupiers to scale up and down and manage their utilisation needs immediately is critical. So due to the current situation, the capability of many businesses to partially or completely work from home has generated a significant behavioural change. And as a result, it's possible that businesses will take the opportunity to review their premises and how it is utilised, and whether or not it is being utilised as effectively and efficiently as possible. However, I'm sure many of the fact that working from home has its challenges, and the ability to access appropriate working space, family commitments, all of these things create significant challenges for an individual to work from home. In the short term, there are density factors that occupiers will consider, and I think that these things will all be balanced out. Whilst occupiers are striving for efficient use of space, they also will need to consider the challenge of density in the short term around social and physical distancing.
Can I just stop you there? And maybe we have about 5 to 6 minutes. So I'm going to have a kind of short question then in a sentence, if you could give me your view, and then perhaps you could take one question. I think there are some interesting questions coming. So there's no doubt that this crisis really will have very lasting, I think, implication, and businesses has already been trying to adapt. And fundamentally, I guess business will change. It will be business unusual, and then it becomes business usual. So in a sentence, when this finally settles, right, how would you think the post-pandemic real estate landscape will look like, and what new opportunities will arise for you? And lastly, do you think that there is a future for high-density cities after this? Maybe we can go with Deng Wee first.
Okay. Post-pandemic, I believe the changes in public health requirements, social contracts, and the potential deglobalization of supply chains would influence the debate on whether cities will de-densify or decant certain land users. Now, on whether higher density cities with the right governance and technologies are still the best bet for public health management, sustainable growth, and pandemic resilience, I think that has to be debated, and we have to see how things unfold. I think these changes will definitely influence where people will decide to stay, live and work, and how they will learn, play, eat, shop, and move around. So we are watching these evolving needs quite closely. We will definitely adapt quickly to the new norms and stay relevant in our product designs and offerings. For instance, many buildings may have to be repurposed post-COVID-19. We may see underutilized spaces in Grade A office development with higher vacancies due to new work patterns in future, whether it's work from home or social distancing. Now, we can work with the owners to convert these office developments into suitable service apartments. For real estate investment, design, and development, at its very heart, is a statement of faith in the future. I think this pandemic has united many of us anew and has taught us to adjust, to rethink, and to operate innovatively in unprecedented ways. Now, we look forward to collaborating more with like-minded partners, such as many of our fellow members here, so that we can help to rebuild a more vibrant, more pandemic resilience, and a greener shared future together. Thank you.
Thank you. Can we have perhaps Ben, your views, please? Hello? Because Ben can't hear me. Maybe if you can, maybe with your views.
Terence, so I'll go ahead of Ben.
Yes,
okay. All right. So I don't think we can avoid high density cities, especially if we look at, Westmoor Island, right, in Singapore. But I would say it's fair to say that we'll see a shift in the CBD's density. Decentralization of operations is already happening, and I think this will accelerate as more and more companies rationalize their real estate space. Now, there's one point that I like to add. I think we mentioned about repurpose. I would say that the purpose of the office, will change. And this is already changing. I feel that the office will become more alive and more interesting than ever, because this is the place for in-person connection, right? With remote working option, if you go into the office, it's with an objective. So I think the office will become really more alive and more purposeful. It will be a place where there will be in-person connection, collaboration, and also there will be behavior emphasis on well-being. Well-being, in terms of air quality, ventilation, temperature scanners, contactless, access, all that kind of things, I think, will change as we rationalize our real estate space.
Thank you very much, Wei Ling. We have to sort of end quickly, and perhaps I'll wrap it up with Ben. Comments, please.
Look, just very Very quickly, I absolutely agree with that position. I think that the workplace environment is changing. The way in which landlords are going to be expected in the future to provide a community and a well-connected community and a program of events and content appropriate to that community will facilitate the use of commercial office space in the future. That is something which has been developed over the most recent past. In addition to that, I think data analytics and better understanding the use of commercial space and how the community is interacting with the portfolio or the commercial asset or the commercial space itself will be crucial to delivering effective community amenity, effective community space events, and ultimately act as a third place for members of a portfolio community.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you to all our panelists. Thank you for having being with us today. Unfortunately, we have not much time to take the question, but we appreciate all your questions. So for all of those who are listening, stay safe, and we'll meet again for the next session. Thank you.